Hello, and welcome to Me, My Friends, and I, the podcast where unlicensed adults give unsolicited advice with your host and new friend, Brittany. Hi, everyone. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I am so happy to be on my own podcast today. You'll only have me, your girl. Um, we can talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while. And that's okay because I do what I want on this podcast. Um, it's been about almost a year. I think when I checked this schedule, I think my last episode was like in April of last year or something like that. A lot has changed since April of last year. I shouldn't have left you. I should have never left you without adult beat to step two. Do you understand? Uh, but again, I'm happy to be here and I'm feeling good. And that's pretty much it. I don't want to be like one of those people who are like, oh, I've got so many requests to talk about XYZ. But given the small nature of my friend group, the ratio speaks for itself. I did get a decent amount of people expressing their interest and their encouragement for me to get back started. And so, estamos aquí. Estamos aquí. I am grateful to everyone that mentioned this podcast and help remind me that this is something that I do care about, and that maybe you guys also care about a little bit. And I'm just here to, I'm just here to talk. Um, a large, well, not a large, but a common question that I got from friends about like why I hadn't been doing it. At first, it was because at first it was because I was just sad, and I think upon hearing that initially, like it's just like, okay, so like what? Like, okay, fine, you were sad. But no, big dog, I was super sad and it wasn't a priority. And even now, I can't even say that this is a priority. This is just like a lifestyle. Like it's just something that I feel like needs to be a part of my not my day to day, but it needs to be a part of my routine. Which I think I've kind of done a good job of establishing for myself these days. This isn't going to be a very long one. It's not going to be a very long casty wasty today because I got things to do. But I kept thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, dog, we gonna do it. We gonna do it. So today we are talking about pivoting. I would say within the last year, I'm just gonna keep saying within the last year because that's really what I see it as. Within the last year, I've had so many opportunities to pivot. So I consider myself as like A1 pivot princess. You could be a pivot prince if you want to. Um, but I would just say last year I was given the gifts. The way I will consider this is like gifts and opportunities to shift. Um, and also the gift of recognizing the opportunity to shift. And it has opened up new conversations, new challenges, new beginnings, new endings, new just a whole lot of newness. And I just feel different. Um, and so I'm just coming here with a message to encourage the kids to understand the importance of pivoting and knowing when also to stay the course. I'm gonna work backwards though. Big shout out to my therapist, Beanie Baby. You know who you are. Um, she has helped me get close to myself. Over the years, I've been seeing her for years, and she's helped me get closer to myself. And it has been the most fulfilling experience, I would say, within this last, I don't know what it was, but it was within this last year. Um, there's been so much of me learning about myself, and investigating my past, investigating what makes me tick. Um, and I think it's really helped to improve my life. I feel like these days I'm really watching myself, I'm really listening to myself, and I'm getting better and better at it. Um, I I think, well, not I think, I know that many years ago, like I'm 23 now, so subtract 12, carry the one. So like when I was 12, 13, I had so many questions, like a lot of us in like, when we're young and stuff, so many questions about like, I hope, actually, I don't know about y'all. I'm hopeful that you had questions about life. I'm hopeful that you had questions. I just wanted to be better. I'm just always striving to be better. I'm always striving to like bring good into every room, into every situation, into every conversation. I really am. Um, and at a certain point, I wanted just improvement for myself. And I wanted improvement for others. I wanted improvement across the board. But what I didn't realize is that in doing that, there was a lot of self neglection going on. And I think that just compounded over the years. And I bring up the self neglect part because knowing when to pivot, knowing when something is no longer right for you, I think that's only going to happen if you have trust within yourself and yeah, that's it. When you have trust within yourself, when you can trust yourself, the idea of trusting oneself is huge. People say trust your gut. And some people are like, but I don't know what that is. Yeah, babes, thanks for calling it out. You don't know what it is because you've been probably neglecting yourself. And I don't mean in the way of like, not showering. Okay. I don't mean like that's sure, that's a form of neglect, whatever. But I'm saying there are very subtle ways that we each choose to neglect either something that we're thinking or feeling or whatever. And every time we just chip away at our soul, drama. But I really feel this way. Every time like, for example, if I need to pee right now and I'm deciding to just stay on this and not go pee, I'm going to like stay on here and talk to y'all for the next 10, 15 minutes, whatever, and not go pee. I swear you don't realize it, but that is like a micro self neglect moment. And there are little things like that happening all the time. There are medium sized things that happen like that all the time, and there are large. The largest ones are easier to recognize, but they're the harder to understand. I think they're harder to understand when you've like made a very like self neglecting choice. But when you fill your day with acknowledging when you made a choice to self neglect, I think that's when the switch can begin to happen. So I'm saying this from a place of I am a recovering people pleaser, and with that came a lot of self-neglect. And I'm proud to say I'm gonna accept this award um as like in being a great place in recovery. I don't really have like a milestone, like, whatever. But I can say my days nowadays are filled with more supportive decisions, and that means small, medium, and large. And when I tell you a hoe is getting good at that, a hoe is getting good at that. Okay. And it came with boundaries. It came with setting those holes up. And I promise you, if you set a boundary and it's not supported, I promise you, that's the message in itself. That is the message with it. Message received, babes. Message received. Um, And when you set a boundary and you stick to it, boom, that's adding to your, let's say, your piggy bank, your own piggy bank of supporting self. And you begin to build that trust with self. And then you start to realize that it's getting easier and easier to make decisions that feel good when you choose to start to hear what your body's telling you. When your body's cueing you about something, like that's the gut, like that's intuition, like that's what the people are talking about. It's that feeling, it's that voice. And I'm telling you back, like when I was 12, 13, I didn't know what these hoes were talking about. I didn't know what do you mean the voice? I don't hear it. I can't feel it. But I promise you, when you start to get quiet and listen to your body and you listen to your mind, Like, listen to your thoughts, take a chance, be afraid, but take a chance, make mistakes, but keep in pursuit of being your biggest advocate. Keep pursuing that feeling that you get when you feed yourself, that feeling that you get when you just took a shower, that feeling that you get when let's say you just did a thing that you know your future self is going to appreciate. That's what that looks like when you start to build trust within yourself. Um it's it's such a, I don't know, I just find it so beautiful. I find it so beautiful. Again, I really thank my therapist for helping me understand myself and listening. I want to share who this person is for real with y'all, but then like I'm like but then you're gonna have her and then she's not gonna have time for me. I, I'm joking, not really, but anyway, yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to talk about today. um that like I'm a pivot princess and I'm happy about it. And um on paper, on paper, I have to tell you, on paper for me, life looks crazy. But I'm telling you, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. And I'm just again, I don't want to be like, oh, gratitude Olympics, but like I just am so grateful for my friends, for the people around me that like they stay by me, they stay on top of me as far as holding me accountable, trying to make me better, um, reminding me of like the person that I want to be, allowing me to be my full self. Go off. Go off. It's y'all. Y'all are the MVPs. You know who you are. um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to this Pilates class real quick. If y'all haven't tried Pilates, go for the mat Pilates and it'll humble you so hard. It's not even funny. I don't care how strong you think you are. I don't care how strong you think you are. Something happens when you lay your back on a mat and they ask you to lift your leg in the air and do a circle with it about 15 times or whatever. Not even 15 times. It'll humble you real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't want to be I'm already late. It's fine. Thank you for listening. I will be back. If I'm feeling so inclined, I'll be back very soon. Um, but welcome back to the restart. I hope you pivoting princes and princesses um can relate to what I said and can feel that into your days going forward. Again, this is like something that I used to say earlier. I think earlier in the cast that I think I'm just gonna close out with all the time now. But consider that you might not be the person that you think you are. You have to remain in a state of curiosity and just wonder. Not with a not with a lacking attitude, but with a questioning attitude, with a wanting to be informed attitude. So consider that you might not be the person that you think you are. Listen to yourself, hear your body, hear your mind. Um, I'm happy to be back. Okay, I love you. Bye.